Oh, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today I'm not in the Stuff and Things studios, and so everything is a bit of a shambles right now. I think the lighting's okay. I think the audio's okay. Is it peaking? I think it's fine. And I think you can actually see me. The reason we're here is because I just recorded a video here. We're gonna get into that in a moment, but we have other things, stuff and things to talk about on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, including upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the worried YouTube pipe hobby apocalypse that people have been mentioning to me and that I mentioned in the last episode. I'm going to show you, well, I'm not going to show you yet. I'm going to show you my cool new Fender Mustang bass that I'm pretty excited about, and I think you'll find that interesting as well. We'll talk about another topic that sort of randomly came up because my fiance mentioned it, and it struck me as one of those weird things that people have about perception, and just curious to know what you guys feel about this particular subject. It's about losing your appetite. We're gonna get into that, and then we have a ton of feedback, so I wanna make sure we leave enough time for that at the end of the show. But lots of good stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. Okay, so what can you look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays? Well, on Stuff and Things Plays, of course, the Elden Ring series is continuing. Let me adjust my chair here. Elden Ring is probably the best game I've ever played, and I think this series is super fun, so definitely check it out if you haven't already. There are episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Pacific time on Stuff and Things Plays. We will have on Wednesday a video about my Fender JMJ road-worn Mustang bass. Something that I'm really excited about. I'm really enjoying this instrument a lot, and I think that you will enjoy taking a look at it this Wednesday. Still waiting for that notebook cover. It has left Germany now and should be arriving in the US hopefully fairly soon, so I'd like to show that to you as well. And then of course we have the Freiberg and Trayer blend that you guys voted. You voted the McConnell Maduro blend first, but I still want to review that Freiberg and Trayer blend, so that's coming up as well. So just lots of stuff. Lots of good stuff coming up. Okay, so let's touch again on what we were talking about last week, whether or not this is the end of the pipe hobby on YouTube, anything ATF related. It seemed many people are worried that it's just going to be scrubbed from YouTube entirely. And I have lots of comments and questions about that we'll be getting to in hashtag #AskStuffandThings, your feedback. But for now, I just wanted to follow up. I had several people contacting me and saying, hey, you know, you should watch this person's video. They posted about their channel. They posted about their videos being taken down. And I tried to watch a few things. There was one guy in particular, I'm not going to mention his name, but I watched his video and he had a pipe channel, and I think he sells pipes as well. And he started talking about how irritated he was that some of his videos were being taken down. And he went through this whole litany of all these things that you could do on YouTube, none of which you could do, but he started naming, like, you can spread pedophilia, you can glorify and take illegal drugs, you can do all these things. I'm not gonna mention all of them because then I'll probably get this video demonetized. He was mentioning all these things, saying like, I could do those on YouTube, but I can't post pipe videos. First of all, that's just not true. Pretty much none of the things he mentioned are things that you could do on YouTube and still be monetized. And from watching his video, what I think was happening with him, and it was annoying because he would never say specifically what had happened, like what YouTube had done and which videos had been affected by whatever YouTube was doing. But my understanding of it is that people are posting videos in which they have direct links in the description to a website or a storefront that sells ATF regulated things. And that is a no-no according to YouTube. And you can debate whether or not that's a good thing. I think it's kind of stupid myself, but it is part of the rule, or the rule system of YouTube is that you cannot directly link to a website or a storefront that sells these things. And I have been hit with this once. I think we talked about this probably years ago now, but I had a video where the Danish pipe shop had sent me some blends to review. I reviewed the blends, and then I linked to the product on the Danish pipe shop. And at the time, that was fine. But several years later, or maybe 2 years later, that video got removed entirely from YouTube. And I was pretty irritated by that because this was a policy change and that policy hadn't been in effect when I had made the video, but then retroactively they applied that to the video and then that video was just gone. I was annoyed. I tried to complain to YouTube, but of course you can't get a hold of anybody when you try to complain to YouTube. And I think that is the root of a lot of what's going on here. There are also videos being age restricted. I do understand that, and that's annoying for people. It's annoying for me, it's annoying for other content creators, but I think the main thing about videos being taken off is that they were linking to ATF-regulated products. I don't think that anyone is just having their videos randomly removed because YouTube doesn't like pipe blends or pipe videos. And that's what a lot of people seem to be worried about in the comments and the messages that I was giving, or that I was getting. And I just want to assure you, who knows what's going to happen in the future, but as of now, I've only had one video ever removed by YouTube, and it was the one that I just mentioned to you where I had a direct link. I've had some videos age restricted. The last review I did of Maduro was not age restricted, but the first impressions video was. I don't know. And I just had a message from YouTube saying that they had age restricted another one of my videos from like years ago. But it's only the pipe stuff. Like I said, if you are subscribed, if you are logged in, you can find those pipe videos. If they end up being age restricted, you won't see them if you're not logged in. So you have to be logged in to see those videos. And I'm gonna keep posting them. And hopefully you guys will keep watching them. You might just have to take a little bit extra time to find them. You might have to go to my YouTube homepage and just look at my most recent uploads. It might not show up in your feed. That's just kind of where we are. And for now, 50% of my videos aren't pipe related, and so YouTube is still a fine platform for that. I'm irritated with YouTube, and I think a lot of people are. And we'll get into some of the people telling me about different options there are out there, and we'll talk about that. But as of now, I'm on YouTube. I'm posting my videos to YouTube. I don't think there's any worry about my videos being removed. I try to follow the rules as closely as I can, even though they're kind of difficult to follow sometimes, or it's vague what the rules actually are. But for the foreseeable future, I will be here on YouTube, and I hope you guys will subscribe, keep watching, searching out those videos. If you don't see them in your feed, go to my page. You will find them. They will be there. And thank you for your support on Patreon and for the super thanks and all that stuff. It's really appreciated and really helps. So that's kind of where we are. Next, I just recorded, as I mentioned, a video for this. This is my Fender Justin Meldal Johnson road-worn Mustang bass. I've got a pick here, and I'm pretty excited about this thing, and it's been really fun not figuring it out. I haven't figured out the bass yet, but I've been trying to get some bass lines for some songs that I've written and practicing some other things, just simple bass lines from famous songs, and it's been really fun. It's a really cool bass. It's kind of a reissue of a 1966 Fender Mustang bass. Justin Meldal Johnson is a music producer, and then he's also played bass for people like Beck. It's the only one coming to mind right now, but he's a good bass player, he's a good producer, and this was a recreation of one of his basses. I think he had a Daphne Blue version. But it's really cool. I like the vintage accoutrement. I like the just single kind of vintage style Mustang pickups. I like it's just one tone, or one volume, one tone knob. I love the short scale. It's a 30-inch short scale bass. Really cool old-fashioned lollipop tuners on there. Open back. Really cool. Not a huge fan of all the scuffage and road-wornness to it. I like how it feels. It feels nicely worn in and played in, but it's just really cool. Let's see. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this at all. It's cool because it has flat wound strings on it. So you get kind of that vintage feel, different vintage sound. And then I also put a foam mute under the bridge. So it's a foam mute, flat wound strings, and playing with a pick, you get kind of that Carol Kay Wrecking Crew sort of sound. So I'm really, really enjoying this bass. I think it's really cool. And you should check out the video that I am posting this Wednesday about this Fender Justin Meldal Johnson Road-Worn Mustang bass. Okay, and one quick topic before we get to your feedback and hashtag askstuffandthings, but recently my fiance and I were eating some dinner. Where are my feedback notes? And like just kind of browsing around YouTube, and I saw a video about pet rats. I was like, oh, let's watch the pet rat video. She did not want to watch the pet rat video. I put it on anyway, which was probably a mistake. And she remarked that she had lost her appetite after seeing the rats. And we had a conversation about this, and my contention was that I have never seen anything that made me lose my appetite. As far as like watching a film, you know, if I saw a horrible terrorist video of somebody being mutilated or beheaded or something, that might make me lose my appetite. But as far as like watching a horror movie or a slasher movie or a nature documentary of like an impala being attacked by lions and killed, I can't think of anything that would make me lose my appetite. I don't have a connection between my eyes and my brain and my stomach in that way. And I'm just curious, how common is that? She said that it was a male thing, that men are less likely to have that because they're missing something within their brains. And I don't know if there's any sort of gender thing going on there, but for me, I could watch almost anything and I might go like, oh, that's gross, but it wouldn't make me lose my appetite. And that's not to say that I'm this crazy big eater. I mean, obviously, look at me. But yeah, it just doesn't have any effect. So let me know in the comments below whether or not this is like a universal thing or how many of you experience this yourselves. We don't need to hear a bunch of gross stories or anything, but I'm just curious to know if you see something gross on television or on video while you're eating, does it make you unable to finish your dinner? Just curious. All right, gang, but we have lots and lots of feedback and hashtag askstuffandthings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at SATBradley with the hashtag askstuffandthings. You can also leave comments on YouTube videos. I try to go through every single comment and at least read them all. I try to respond to quite a few of them, and then I pick out questions and some feedback for different videos that I post. And then if you are a Patreon supporter, you can always message me on Patreon, and I will for sure get to your question on hashtag askstuffandthings on the Sunday Stuff and Things. So, first, via Patreon from Corbin Bordner. Corbin says, and thank you for being a Patreon supporter, Corbin. If YouTube keeps being a dick, would you make an SAT S's P's channel? Just curious. When I woke up this morning and saw the title for today's video, I was like, uh-oh. What did I start? I'm not one looking to be in the spotlight, LOL. Because he had talked to me about these things before, about perhaps YouTube cracking down on these kinds of videos. I don't think I would, Corbin, and thank you for the question, because basically, as of now, when I post pipe-related videos, they are demonetized. They may or may not be age-restricted. If I had a whole channel of that, then the whole channel would be demonetized and or age-restricted, and it would basically just be kind of more work. So I don't think I'm in danger of my channel being taken down. I think we've already kind of put that to bed in this episode and in the last one. And so it wouldn't really gain me any benefit to have a separate channel just for pipe videos. But thank you for the question. Next, via Twitter, we have one from Chris Coffey at Lutheran Clinian. Would you please consider switching over to Odyssey? You can say the T word and you can go back to the pleasant Sunday S. They will transfer all your YouTube content and viewers can donate money on each video. Hashtag askstuffandthings. People have been suggesting other alternatives to YouTube, and I have looked into some of these in the past. I actually looked into Odyssey as well, and it just isn't there. It's not there yet. And the way things are right now, I can still post my videos on YouTube and you guys can still watch them. So in spite of certain annoyances that develop through this platform that we've discussed a lot in the past, fundamentally, I can still put out my videos and you can still watch those videos. So for now, I think we're fine. If things change in the future, I will definitely reassess. But thank you for the suggestion, Chris Coffey. Next, from Jason Hexeter Hunt, @Hexeter. Rewatching the Dark Souls 3 playthrough. You have a much different sounding audio profile and a lot more F-bombs. Ha ha ha. Just wondering what you have changed in your audio setup since that series. Your audio is much better now. #AskStuffandThings. Well, thank you, Jason. Back then, I can't remember how long ago, I originally was just using a cheaper Shure SM58 microphone. I thought I might have had my Shure SM7B by the time I did the Dark Souls 3 series, but I can't totally remember. If there's a face cam in that one, you should be able to see the mic. I guess I should go back and look. But since the beginning of doing gameplay videos, I've gotten a Shure SM7B, which is a really nice kind of broadcast quality mic. So that has definitely improved, and then improved the sound quality. And then in the last few months, I have gotten a Universal Audio Apollo audio interface, and that has really improved the audio on the gameplay videos as well. So I think it's sounding pretty good right now. Next, via YouTube and Cheesy Bacon, they say, is Subnautica Below Zero anywhere in the queue of games that you intend to play on the SaTP channel? It's definitely on the radar. And I think the Subnautica series was really fun and I enjoyed that game a lot. I would like to play Sub-Zero or Below Zero at some point, but it will be after Elden Ring, and that could be years. Probably not years, but it's gonna be a while. But I might try to intersperse some other things in the meantime, or every once in a while. So thank you for the question. Next, we have feedback from last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. This is from Sound Dude. Right after the SHTF rant, the Schniz hits the fan rant, YouTube ran an ad for prepper materials. Gave me a chuckle. Yeah, that's YouTube for you. Next, from Corbin Borbin. Custom is always better than stock and haters gonna hate. Talking about the comment about the S hitting the fan. I personally don't understand this war on anything bad, but it's sad to see it going this way. I was kind of nervous that my comment started the topic for this week's episode. Glad I'm not the only one who noticed and got irritated. So, yeah, that's Corbin Bordner, is also Corbin Borbin on YouTube. But don't worry, Corbin. There were many messages, and it was just something that was floating around, so I thought I had to address it. Next, from Rick778, I'm always logged in and get all of your videos in my feed. Edit, the logged in thing only applies to pipe videos that have been age restricted. And that's what people have been telling me, that if they are logged in, they do see those videos on their feed, and that is good. Next, from Stephen Ford, this is a really long one, so I'm just gonna try to get into a little bit here. They say, here in Oz, I'm assuming you mean Australia and not the mythical land where the Scarecrow and Wizard lived, I can see all your content, I think. I wanted to watch the McConnell's review, but I got the following Google message below. Choose how to verify your age. Use a credit card to verify immediately. You won't be charged. Any transaction fee will be fully refunded. Use your ID. Submit an image of a valid ID like your driver's license or passport. It may take up to 3 days to verify your ID. If that's true, that's crazy. I have never seen YouTube or Google or YouTube have never tried to ask me to verify my age by putting in a credit card. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if that's an Australia thing, or I don't know if that's some sort of weird phishing scam that's going on, but hopefully YouTube or Google are not asking anyone to put in their ID or credit card to verify their age. That's just crazy. Next, from Oliver Robbins. What I find confusing is the reason these age restrictions exist is to protect kids. YouTube has a platform entirely for kids called YouTube Kids. So why do we have to miss out on content to protect a group who have a platform specifically for them? And that is true. Every video that I post, I have to check a box that says this is not intended for kids, and then that video will not show up on YouTube Kids. I don't know. I'm sure it has to do with advertising. Next, from Jason Hunt. Video quality is excellent this week, Bradley, as is the audio. Thank you, Jason. Quick question. Who is that small brown fellow next to the SAT logo in your background? I noticed it a few episodes ago, and I'm curious. As far as the S hitting the F, if it were I guess fan, you could say fan. If it were really the case, and I don't even remotely believe it has, anyone who can still be hanging out, posting comments on YouTube is definitely not being affected by it. True. The little brown dude, I don't have him with me right now, but that is just a weird, warped-looking Bigfoot. I think it was our first trip to Winthrop that I took with Diamond. We had found this ridiculous magnet. I'll have to bring that in sometime. A Bigfoot magnet, and he just looked there was so much wrong with him. We thought it was hilarious, so we bought that. And then since then, if I have seen weird big feet, I have sometimes purchased them because I just find them really amusing. The Sasquatch, Bigfoot, many of you will know him by Wendigo. I'm not like a Bigfoot guy. I don't believe in Bigfoot or anything, but I find weird-looking Bigfoots amusing. And so he is a weird-looking Bigfoot. I'll try to remember to show him to you next episode that we're in the studio. Next, from Mushroom Leg. Hey, first-time caller and long-time listener. Would you be able to make more specific playlists in relations to the pipe videos? Would make watching your stuff a lot easier. Just a suggestion. Thank you. Thank you, Mushroom Leg. I have many playlists, and they are all very specific. I have a first impressions playlist, I have a pipe review playlist, I have just a general pipe hobby playlist, I have a guide to pipe essing playlist. So there are a lot of playlists, so maybe you're not seeing them all. You may have to click the little thing that shows all the playlists, but there are many. Check them out. Next, feedback for the original Maduro review. This is from Schnary Dog. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're fine. Schnary Dog says, maybe the most savage review I've seen you give. Very funny though. Being disappointed always makes it worse. Truth in advertising. Keep up the good work. Hint, GLP, Loch Ness, and Sutliff Birds of a Feather Uno. Uno? Both great and very reviewable. Thank you for the feedback, Schnary Dog. I think I've been probably more brutal about certain blends. I'm trying to think of any off the top of my head. Maybe Captain Black? I don't know, but I guess that is one of my most negative reviews I posted in a long time. So if you guys haven't watched the review of Robert McConnell, the original Maduro, and you like me being irritated, then you should watch that video. It posted last Wednesday. And finally, is that finally? Have we gotten to the end here? Yes, from Simon Brown. Simon says, I find myself worried that you've ghosted your beautiful Sea Rock Briar with that gloop. Tell us it isn't so. No, it was fine. Like I said, I don't really believe in ghosts all that much. I know that it's possible, I know it can happen, but I think you gotta work at it to really ghost your pipe beyond just a good cleaning and beyond what a good cleaning and like having another blend in that pipe would fix. So it's totally fine, don't worry about it. Thank you for all the feedback. I mean, that's a small percentage of all the feedback I got, especially from last Sunday's video. I really appreciate it. I want you to keep sending it in because it is really, really good. Me being able to pick out things that you're talking about, bringing them up on the show, it's really helpful and it's really cool to hear from you. But before we go, it's time for the very best part of the show, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. Gang, supporting the channels on Patreon is super helpful and it's very much appreciated. It helps pay for the camera that is filming this video right now, the lights that are shining upon me, blends that I get for review and other products. It's really, really helpful and I really appreciate it. If you would like to support the channels on Patreon, there is a link in the description box below. You can also support the channels via the Super Thanks button under this video right now if you don't feel like subscribing to a service like Patreon. But every week, we thank those who support our channels on Patreon at $25 or more a month. People like Kirk Crompton, Private Eye, Glenn, Just Glenn, Jason Buckner, Gloria Phillips, MDoftheNorth, and Mr. Luxurious, David Gaudreau. And of course, the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month. People like Peter Straub, award-winning author and good friend, Bob Magee, stolid and dependable, and rising from the ashes of the Phoenix. Thank you all so much for your support on Patreon. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for, I guess, logging in so you can find my tea-related content or pipe videos. Just go to the channel page, look at my uploads. I don't know if I think you still have to be logged in if you're gonna do that. You have to show, hopefully you're not supposed to be showing or not needing to show ID or credit cards. I think that's crazy, but I think if you're just logged in, you should be able to see my content on my channel. I'm still gonna be posting it. Lots of good stuff coming up. Please check out the video about the Fender JMJ Road-Worn Mustang bass. I think this thing is great. It's really, really cool. That'll be posting Wednesday. We have Elden Ring Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Next week, maybe we'll have either a T, first impressions, or we might have that. Well, I think if I do get that notebook cover in, I'm gonna have it for a while and use it for a bit before I do a review. So we'll probably have the first impressions of Freiberg and Trayer, and then we might have that cool German notebook cover. But until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a pleasant Sunday. Stuff and Things. I'll see you later. Play us out, Brad. Play a funky bass line. I don't know any funky bass lines, but I will try.